Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala man la nabiyya ba'da Muhammad Abdullah salawatu rabbina wa salamu alayhi wa ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Charles and online, I didn't understand what the panel session is going to be about. So basically, finance, if you want to define it academically, is a system of creating, circulating, and managing money. But I would like to use the word wealth. Finance is about creating, circulating, and managing wealth. It is as old as humanity. It's as old as humanity. Because as human beings, we have certain basic needs. Needs that we would need by virtue of our being human. Allah refers to this, and a lot of the Mufassirun would mention this. Adam and his wife Hawa, not to allow themselves to be deceived by the shaitan. Allah says in Surah At-Tawbah, from the 117th verse to around 120. Allah told Adam, do not allow shaitan to take you out of Jannah. He said, فَلَا يُخْرِجَنَّكُمَ مِنَ الْجَنَّةِ فَتَشْقَى. Do not allow shaitan to take you from Al-Jannah so that you will not become sorry for yourself. Usually, the Arabic word shaqi comes with misfortune. Now, at times, the English language does not properly encapsulate certain usage of the Arabic language. Shaqi, if I were to translate into Yoruba, everybody will get it. Eleribu. But in this context, Allah is not addressing Adam, because Adam is a prophet, and the believers will not go to hell. So what did Allah mean when he says, do not allow him to take you from Jannah, so that you will not be of those who are shaqi? Allah explained, Inna laka alla taju'a fiha wa la ta'ara wa annaka la tadma'u fiha wa la tadha. What we are talking about, that sorry state we are talking about, is that if you allow him, shaitan, to take you out of Al-Jannah, you are going to suffer hunger, and you are going to suffer nakedness. So it's one of the arguments that we say that in Islam, Adam and Hawa were not naked in Al-Jannah. La taju'a fiha.
Please, the Honda pilot is still blocking.
You are taking my time.
BTG 761 ET.
Plus 1 minute.
Honda pilot, please, if it's your car, please move it. BTG 761 ET.
Alhamdulillah. 2 minutes. So you will not be hungry. In Al-Jannah you have everything you need. You don't need to work. Everything you need you have. But if you allow shaitan to take you from Al-Jannah, you're going to suffer hunger. You're going to suffer nakedness. You're going to be thirsty. And you would have to labor under the sun. Right? You will labor under the sun so that you would, in order to avoid hunger, thirst, nakedness, and having a shelter, you would have to labor. So all those things you learn in economics, that they say that they have certain things that are needs and certain things that are wants. The basic needs of human beings has been encapsulated in this verse. Food, water, clothing, and what? Shelter. And why was Adam addressed in that verse? It was Adam and Hawa. Why was it Adam? Because he is the one who is responsible to go out and strive. Like when I got here, plus 1 minute. When I got here, I noticed that the number of females we have, or it may be my assumption, is not a number of what? Number of males. So it is Adam that is expected to strive, not our female folks. At times, our head will swell, right? That I want to get married. But if our pocket does not, if our pocket, don't let me embarrass you. If our pocket does not swell commensurably, you cannot get married. Because you would have to provide these basic needs for your wife. Food, water, clothing, and shelter. The idea that you want to share responsibility with, we are not talking about marriage counseling. Basic needs are underlined. So if you want to acquire these things, how do you acquire them? They don't fall from heaven. You need to acquire wealth so as to be able to acquire those things that are those things. If you don't have them, you will live a life that is very, very, very bad by all standards. To crave for shelter, to crave for clothing, to crave for food and water is nothing wrong. They are basic things that the Sharia wants us to acquire. Then Allah goes forward. Islam is a very straightforward religion. A religion that you embrace and you have tranquility. If you embrace Islam and have problems in it, is your problem. Islam has not come to make things difficult for you. Then you find in the Quran, Allah telling you that, look, wealth is something good. It is not bad in itself. There is no virtue in you being poor. Allah says, Al-malu wal-banun zinatul hayati dunya. Al-malu, what is mal? So I'm not bringing my interpretation here. All of us will read this in Surah what? Surah Al-Kahf. Wealth and children are part of the adornment of this world. But Allah says, وَالْبَاقِيَاتُ الصَّالِحَاتُ خَيْرٌ عِنْدَ رَبِّكَ ثَوَابًا وَخَيْرٌ أَمَلًا. But righteousness is always far better. In as much as your wealth does not take your deen from you, you are good to go. You may ask somebody, can I drive a Ferrari? And say, أعوذ بالله bid'ah. Wastage. Israf. Ma indakum zud. It's a certain level for you to assume that these luxury items are in themselves, but why are you chasing this world? No, it's not chasing this world. If Allah gives to you, use it. If you don't need it and you go ahead to buy it, that may be a different thing. But if you have the means, Allah is saying, Al-malu wal-banun zinatul hayatid dunya. Apart from that, Allah tells us that, look, it's natural. You see, those people that usually say that, no, a'udhu billah minash, oftentimes it's because they don't have. That's the blunt truth. Oftentimes when we don't have things, the way you look at it will be very, very different. There are people say that, why are you going for Umrah every year? Is that not wastage? If he has the money, he will go monthly. So because he does not have that, perception would vary. Allah says it is our natural instinct for us to like wealth and children. Allah says, plus 2 minutes.
So another car has been reported.
I'm recording it too.
A Toyota Camry LSR 15LG. Toyota Camry LSR 15LG.
In Surah Al-Imran, to show that wealth is naturally beloved to human. In fact, Allah made it that way. Allah says, زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ حُبُّ الشَّهَوَاتِ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ وَالْبَنِينَ وَالْقَنَاطِيرِ الْمُقَنطَرَةِ مِنَ الذَّهَبِ وَالْفِضَّةِ وَالْخَيْلِ مُسَوَّمَةِ. Allah says, وَالْأَنْعَامِ إِلَى آخِرِ الْآيَةِ, that it naturally we love wealth, we love women, we love horses, like cars, we love those things. It's a natural instinct. Also in this verse, Allah tells us that, look, the best thing is for you to prioritize righteousness. Your wealth should not dissuade you from being righteous. So basically, finance is about creating, managing wealth. And we have said Islam is not against the accumulation of wealth. When we talk about the systems of accumulating it, we are talking about finance.
Haram for you. It means anything outside what is haram is what? Is permissible. Allah says, then what are those things that are permissible? Number one, interest as defined by Islam. Interest as defined by Islam, not as defined by contemporary finance. When I was studying contemporary finance, I used to feel that, how are these people surviving? Some of those details I may not be able to mention them. You have contracts that are called forward contracts, future contracts, swap contracts. Those things are nothing but gambling. And you want to help us. That's why I asked somebody, even the money we use. A lot of people do not understand this. The money we use, what backs it up? In the past, it was backed up with gold and silver. In recent times, what they call particular money, fiat money, it is not backed up with anything except the government. Fiat money does not have what we call intrinsic value. We are not going to do that because of time. So number one, Allah says, what makes financial transaction haram is what? Riba. Any financial transaction that has riba in it is haram. And when we talk about riba, I'm sure in the first lecture, some of these things have been mentioned. You have two types of riba. Riba al-fadl or riba al-nasi'a. Riba al-fadl is for you to give me 20 naira, I pay back 30 naira. Not permissible. So also, any transaction that has what we call gharar, uncertainty, it is not permissible. A lot of scholars will categorize this under what is called al-maisir. Any transaction that involves gambling is haram. Now look, there is a raffle draw going on that if you win it, you get a car, you get this, you get that. Fine. If the raffle draw does not involve you putting money in it or buying a form, fine, you can win, there's no problem. Immediately you have to buy something to participate, then becomes a form of gambling. So also, there are things that are wrong in themselves, like saying that the sales of alcohol or the sponsoring of prostitution, everything that involves all of this will be around as far as Sharia is concerned. Now, why is Islamic finance? Why does it have a lot of focus? Why are we talking about it these days? When we talk about finance, it is usually broken down to three sectors: private finance, public finance, and what? Corporate finance. Now, for us as Muslims,
so another car, Nissan 256 is MUS 256 is blocking the road. If the car belongs to you, please go.
Now, we talk about contemporary finance where major money is being made in the corporate world. Massive money. And then, so when you talk about Islamic finance, it's something that is as old as the advent of humankind. But at the same time, we look at contemporary finance that is basically driven by using interest. So how can Muslims participate in this? So if you say that Islamic finance started in the 19th century, no. We started looking at corporate finance and looking at how Muslims can make inroads into contemporary finance. That is basically the birth of Islamic finance. Banking institutions, insurance institutions, how can we Islamize them so that Muslims also will not be outside of the economic sector? And economics is very, very essential to our life as human beings. Very, very essential. When I was in the institution, those times that we have hot iman, I quoted a verse from Kabakir Saki of Sheikh Adam, Hayatun bila mali, Hayatun mudilla. And the brother said, bad working. He said, why is it bad? He said, Baba is glorifying well. I hope I will see that brother now. Because you see, when you're in school, you don't know anything. Somebody is spending money on you. Then you go to service, you have some people are giving you money. Immediately you need the service here, and you face post-service crisis. We look, 5 covers is not coming in, and you cannot carry plate and come to your father and say, oh, your son, are you mad? That is why some brothers not go home after service and say, no, we are not going home. It's not because he likes where he is, but you know that he goes home, he cannot be asking for money for food again. You finish service one to one, you realize the importance of wealth. Am I knowing you? So, it is very essential that we find ourselves. So how do we deal with it? We look at it, and then we try to expunge the haram components. There are one to do transactions as Muslims. Number one, it must involve real economic business transactions. Contemporary finance, contemporary secular finance is not different from 419. Let me give an example of the forward/future contract. You are selling maize, and I need maize to do, and maybe I am an industrial economica, and I need maize. And I feel that with the time maize will be available, the price may go up, may go down, and buying the maize, let's say the maize will be available in 2 months' time. Then I buy the maize from you right now. So okay, I'm buying 10,000 naira worth of maize, and we seal the contract. Is the maize available? No. Have I given you the money? No. I will pay you in 6 months. Now this is a forward contract. This forward contract will now be regulated, and then they will paint it and paint it. This transaction in itself will be securitized and sold in the market. The maize is not yet available. I've not paid for it. That document we had in itself will be marketed as if it is something that has been done. This is where contemporary finance works. And then this document, so the first problem you would have, Islamic is number one, as far as Islam is concerned, you cannot have a transaction where the counter values are absent. Counter values is a big word. What they are saying is this: you either give the money then and there and wait to collect the product, or you give the product there and there and wait to collect the money. A transaction where the money and product are absent is what? Haram. لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم نهى عن بيع كان بكان. Mr. Allah prohibited you exchanging things that do not exist. Right? The money and the product are both what? Non-existent. So there must be real economic activity. And when we talk about economic activity in Islam, is very short. It's either you are in agriculture, it's either you are producing something as sina'a, like our lawyer that's also a shoe cobbler. So you are in agriculture, you are producing, you are offering services, or you are buying and what? And selling. There must be real economic activity. Number one, we must share profit and loss. We must share. And that's what I said. Okay.
So sorry, we are once for time.
Okay, so let me.
So 10 seconds to wrap up.
In all Islamic financial transactions, we must all be subjected, we must be exposed to loss. Any transaction, this is a lot of times where people lose money. It's because of some of these basic things. Any transaction where you will always win, you tell them, no, you don't need to worry. You will have 50%, 10%, and there is no opportunity of loss. You should always question it. I'm not saying that it's always haram, but you should always be wary of it. Fixed profit is not allowed. We must all be exposed. Both the entrepreneur and the owner of capital must both be exposed to what? Profit and loss. So I have a lot of things to say, but the time is on my side. Questions will touch on them. Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. جزاكم الله خيرا أستاذ. I
have a distance. Can we take them?
Yeah, they are not late. So we move on to the second presentation by brother. And I would like to also appeal again and also demand. Please let's quiet down. The noise is emanating from the back is a lot. So please let's bring it down. So we'll move on to the second, sharing his personal experience with us. And I personally want to hear the story, and I'd like everyone to also pay attention because it is, I would say it is one of the most important things that we come here to learn. And Brother Ibrahim, please.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Sister Eva has asked me to share some personal experience, and this goes to is directed to many of us that are entrepreneurs. So first of all is that we are Muslims and we are into business. I'm sure a lot of us are into one or two businesses. Our scholars since morning they've been talking about halal investment, Islamic finance, Islamic law and all that. But when it comes to practical, it's a different ballgame entirely. It is totally different when it comes to practicability. You can have all the mind to stay on the outside, But when deals start landing on your table, that is where the real test is. That is where the real test is. So, as Muslims, we have to be extremely conscious of the product we are selling, or the services we are rendering, or the deals that are landing on our table. How are we relating to them? So, I run a creative agency, Bigority Visuals, and also Mr. Energy. And in this fair, in Lagos, Nigeria, or Nigeria generally, it is difficult to run business normally. Then when you are a Muslim, it is more difficult. So my first experience was when I got a deal from Domino's Pizza and Costco. I'm sure most of us go there. So I had this deal and I am meant to spend like 12 million. You must have collected their flyers around, go to Domino's. All those things you see there, they are from my company, Bigority Visuals. So the first deal when it came to Nigeria, I was meant to print millions of flyers, and I needed about 12-13 million, and I have to deliver in 1 week. I don't have 30 million. I don't have 30 million. So I am sure many people, no, let me not say I'm sure. A lot of people, some of us, we don't have that. If I approach you, please come and borrow me 30 million. A lot of us don't have 30 million. Even if you have it, to lend someone is a challenge. So that was the first challenge. I don't want to miss this deal. I have a bank account. I'm talking about maybe some 10 years ago. I have savings bank. I have my account person. And she's telling me, come and collect the money now. So you just give us the check. Collect the money and you pay interest. But this is me, a Muslim. I don't want interest. I don't want to pay interest. I don't want this kind of loan. So how am I going to execute this project? So for people like us, Islamic bank that are come to stay, they are positive for us because we can approach them, and we engage in btwAwi kind of, they bring the finance. They will not even give me the money. They will pay. I want to buy this guy, go and pay them. Then when I get the money, we share the profit or loss. So that was the first challenge. But alhamdulillah, I was able to stay through. And you want to hear the story? So I met few people, and alhamdulillah, they were able to sort me. And I did the deal. In fact, after that deal, we made a loss. Because it was the first time. So the first delivery, we rejected it. They rejected it, millions of buyers. So I had to find another money to execute that project. Of course, I got my money back because it kept coming back and it paid back. So recently, a few years ago, there is this popular betting company. And please don't record it. I want to mention it. We as Muslims have to be conscious at all times. 2 months ago, this same brand from another person, so a friend I worked with became their marketing manager, in charge of all the marketing of this same brand. And I had another deal from them. So I'm just mentioning there are other ones like that. And see, we are going to be tested. We are going to be tested. So how do we deal with this test? We have to be extremely conscious of ourselves. And so Islamic finance, Islamic economics, all this, they are these topics with Islam. And Islam, what is Islam? It's Islam. Total submission to what? To the will of Almighty Allah. You submit yourself totally. So whatever He says you should not do, you can't do them. Even if you are looking at the short-term benefits. Even if the benefit is long, you can't do them. So I am sharing this story, with all of us. We might not have experienced this, But perhaps as we go along in our entrepreneurship journey, we are going to come across a lot of deals. If I had done it, you will not know, nobody will know. I got to go away fresh. Then you know, so I pray that we allow in place all these things that we thought were good for us, allow in place them for us, and give us a better one.
So, the problem with finance is what you mentioned, liquidity. Why do you think banks are making money? They have access to cash. See, even if the economy collapses, some people will always have money. You just need to. Some people will always have money. This is a major problem. I have a friend who wanted to run a deal, and he came to me, walk the room, around 90. Then he went there my bank and went to request for the loan. Then the bank asked for a collateral that he could not afford. They have said it's around before. But there are ways that we can acquire this wealth. So those why I could not mention it. And there are ways, that is what Islamic finance is all about. How can we have access to major bucks? And then there will not be haram. You can, another problem in Nigeria, we are too rigid. Friends in Canada, or you guys ask me that there's a deal, I want to buy a car, I want to buy a house, and I tell the person that no, my religion does not allow this. And the man would ask you, what does your religion say? And you explain to him, and he looks at it, and I will still make my money here. Go ahead. In Nigeria, they don't know. They don't know. So, if your name is Kabir, and the K is capital, and then you have a document that is small letter, in Nigeria, they don't know it must be capital. So, finance is about big money. The other people make it for us.
Exactly. For me to stand up, I don't think I can talk. So, firstly, before I begin, I'd like to ask all of us to say a big jazakallah to the organizers. The organizer, the supporters, and the partners. Everybody has to buy. It's the capital to make this happen. Thank you so much. So, I know there are business owners here from different professions, and I'd just like to ask 5 people that are not designers. If you know you are not a designer, log on to Instagram and search for a brand called Lemonade. Lemonade Finance. Lemonade, normal lemonade. Just as if you are asking me, just let me know. I need 5 people that are not designers. Okay, what do you see? It looks like that thing in the middle of the lemon, right? That's what you can see. Any other person? Can you see the same thing? Like a lemonade drink stuff. Oh, you actually saw lemonade?
Yes, they wrote lemonade brown.
You're seeing flour? Good. Anyway, there are a couple of other brands that I've made example with, but I just decided to choose that one. But because of my lecture, I will discuss 2 other brands. So I'll be talking about branding your business. But before I proceed, I'd just like all of us to know that no matter your background or where you're from or what you've gone through in the past, you can actually build a great brand. We have heard of great business owners, the likes of Elon Musk, and all the big guys, how they came from ground up to build a great business. So you just have to start well. I have about 10 steps that you have to take in coming up with a brand, but most of the time I'll have to just define. So basically, what's a brand? A brand is basically a name, term, design, or symbol that distinguishes what you sell or what services you prefer from the other person. So when you enter this hall, you can see different banners here and there. And if you're just looking at the background banner here, you see different logos. Basically, this is what differentiates every one of the support or sponsors here. They have their own identity to distinguish
reach them. Alright, so step number one, you need to discover the purpose of your brand. Okay, so because as a brand owner, you need to see how your brand can answer questions. So if your brand cannot answer the why, the how, and the what that people need, you will definitely not be able to survive in the market. Alright, so the likes of MTN, when they started, I can't remember how many times MTN has had to change their tagline from better connection to several, right? So to the one they are currently using. So you need to understand what the market wants. Alright? So that's one. So two, you need to find your target audience. Alright? So this one is a very tricky one because if you feel like, okay, I want to produce yogurt now, and you feel like everybody will like your yogurt, you are totally mistaken. You need to understand that some certain people like maybe Greek yogurt, some like plain yogurt. So you have to like just niche down and be like, okay, maybe for now or for a couple of months, I want to serve just people that like Greek yogurt alone. Perhaps because of finance or anything. But it's okay to actually niche down and know that okay, these are the certain set of people that I want to supply, right? And satisfy. So that's two. So three, you need to research your competitors. Some businesses, I won't say most, some businesses actually make this mistake. I've had to watch business pitches online, and then when they ask who are your competitors, what kind of information you can gather about them, and then people are not really able to see anything. This is very, very important. If you want to start an e-commerce brand and you're not considering the likes of Konga and Jumia, just forget about it. You're not doing anything. Because today, Konga started as just making buyers and sellers together, right? By putting pictures on their platform. But today they have Jumia food, they have Jumia logistics. I mean, I've seen their bikes. Usually before they don't have branded bikes, but now they have branded bikes, which means they are fully into the business. So you need to study if you're going to e-commerce. I mean, this goes across all brands, all business niche. But if you're starting e-commerce, you need to consider these guys because they have strong financial backing. So if you want to compete with people like this, you need to have like solid investors behind you. So that's three. Then four, you need to create a vision and mission that would support your brand. When I used to work with a fintech on the island, I was opportune to be part of their mission statement, crafting their mission statement. And I was surprised they employed the service of a contractor from Ghana to craft just mission statements. We spent about 3 hours just to craft a five-line statement. And I was surprised that how will this work? They will never go wrong because they spent a lot of time thinking. So what the CEO did there was, apart from himself and the CEO, he had the likes of tech gurus, people with business ideas and everything. We were just about 10. And we're thinking through each line, each word, how it will translate the vision, the idea of the company, right? So at the end of the day, to put in a lot of effort. So I'm not saying it because I want everybody to employ the service of professional and to have mission and vision, but you need to know the message you want to pass into the market, right? And then number 5, you have to create a logo that speaks and translates your service. Now, this goes 2 ways. Your logo can show what you do, right? And at times it might not necessarily show what you do. And these are the mistakes that most people that want to start a business make. They'll be like, okay, you just want to design a logo. I want a logo. I sell yogurt. I bake cake. And then they want a cake to actually show that logo. Or maybe that stuff that is really on ice cream. This is actually very wrong. I'm not saying it's not okay, because the excuse they will give the designer is that anybody that sees my brand should know that this is what I do. It's fine, but in most cases it's not always fine. So by the time you start, that was why I showed you an example of lemonade the other time. When I just got to know lemonade, it was referred to me by a friend, and when I went to their page, I was so surprised. Even me as a designer, I didn't see the lemonade text written. For those of you that have checked the page, that logo is actually lemonade text. Right? So when I went across, I didn't see the lemonade. I just saw that stuff. What got me attracted was the color, and then the way the whole thing was just very stylistic, and I loved it. It was later when I was reading through, and I saw the lemonade text. I said, wow, this is wonderful. So But then, at the end of the day, they are not even trying to, it's a finance company, alright? It's a fintech. So, for those of you that don't know the meaning of fintech, send money and all of those things. So, they are not trying to preach the lemon thingy stuff, but at the end of the day, they just want people to be able to relate that when you hear what lemon is, you think orange or lemon, and then you still think finance when you look through their page or their website. I hope I'm making sense. Alright? So, another good example of the logo is, look at Apple. When you see the icon Apple, nowadays people don't even think of the Apple fruit anymore. They just go back to, unless if they place it side by side, the Apple logo and then the green apple or the red apple. And then you know that okay, this is Apple fruit, this is the Apple brand. Normally when you see the Apple icon, you don't think of the fruit, you think of the brand itself. Are you getting me now? So this is because over the years they've been able to pass the message. And this goes back to what I said earlier. When Apple started then, they were having this kind of Apple-ish good feeling. But then they went all the way minimal to just normal this thing. Alright? Another important brand is MTN. This one caused a lot of controversy the last time they branded. And people were like, it was just too simple, it's just there. They changed from the blue, red, and yellow that we used to know them to just ordinary yellow. I'm sure a big brand like MTN must have gone through a lot of hours to craft just what you're seeing. It's a lot. When I know, I mean, when we attend events and they say BBC, how many of us know BBC? I mean, we all know BBC, right? Just box, and BBC. And then that logo actually cost millions of dollars. I'm like, why was I not giving birth to at when they were designing that logo? Like, they just give me the contract and boss. Do you understand? But a whole lot of things actually go into that. So, main point is, if you don't invest in your brand, if you don't give it a lot of time, and don't just say, okay, I wake up one morning and today, okay, so for the next couple of 5 years, I'll be making maybe ever going, and then I just give it a name, and then next thing you just ask one of your friends to refer a designer to you, and they just shout, hello, I want to say something. That's totally wrong, actually. Now, it's okay not to have the money to start, but need to quickly chip this in. As a brand designer that I am, what I normally do is, and this goes to most designers in the house here, I will implore you, because most business owners here, if they're not, I won't say financially buoyant, but most people don't have the capital in required to start a business. So what I do is, I'll charge you a normal fee, alright? But then I have packages. So what I'll do is, for each of the packages, you have 2 hours consultation time. I will dedicate my time to lecture you and tell you and try and find out if your idea is actually worth it. I mean, I can't count how many brands that I've had to consult with for a couple of hours and we discuss. I discovered that the name they actually gave their business is wrong. And if they have actually consulted a professional, they would have done a whole lot better by choosing a better name. So like I said earlier, just to wrap things up, no matter your background, you can actually do awesome stuff. Alright, so it just requires you to start well. Thank you very much.
That's it, branding hall. I'm thinking of what to call the guru when it comes to branding. Before we proceed to question and answer, I have a couple of things here that I would like to ask for people that are interested in buying them. We have them there at the reception, so please, we would encourage you to patronize and purchase it. Some of them are actually written by the second speaker, Brother Stacy. The first one here is the 15 common btwAwi, religious innovation in our contemporary world. So 15 common btwAwi, religious innovation in our contemporary world. The second one is halal sex and intimacy, also written by the speaker. Halal sex and intimacy for married couple is about to be married couple as well. And then finally another one we have here is 500 Arabic words for beginners. So if you're a beginner in Arabic and you're trying to just gather up or build up your vocabulary, this would be a very good book to buy. 500 Arabic words for beginners. And then finally we have our very own coach, Kauthar. 100 plus affirmations for every Muslim, 100 plus affirmations for every Muslim. This is actually written by the chief organizer, and I would absolutely recommend that we buy and patronize every our vendors. And talking of vendors, please don't leave here. I am asking you not to leave here until you buy something from at least one of our vendors. They sponsored the event, they made it possible for us to be
before, fine. If you bought the paper to participate in that raffle draw, it's also what? Haram. So for a scholarship, the form is administrative, ultimately. In fact, for a lot of that, it's free. You free them online and then that does it. So, but when you buy a form to compete to win something and you're exposed to win or losing, then this is what is called Kima. I don't know if you are following.
Please, let's quiet down. Please.
This is how please start in Sharia. If I say XYZ is around because of ABC, if ABC is absent, it means XYZ will become what? So I'll give an example. You may have issues with Bitcoin, but these same issues you will not have them with NFTs. NFTs, non-fungible tokens, which are actually digital assets that are blockchain. If you have problem with Bitcoin, you will not have problem with what they are calling tokenization of real estate now. One very strong argument against Bitcoin is that what back is for. It's not based on gold or silver. It has no intrinsic value. There's no government backing it up. So these are some we say. Now we have a story whereby you have a building, maybe in the UK, maybe in the US, and then this building is like this, a real building. It will be tokenized, whereby the value of this building will be used to produce coins. So a coin that is generated, and this is what Ethereum is doing, a real value of a portion of real estate, you can't bring the same argument against it. Because at that time, you are talking about something tangible. So when I read the article that somebody wrote on this, I said, no, this is marvelous. So for Muslims also, we should be at the forefront. The only thing is just be very, very intelligent and always ask the scholars, what's the rule on this one? What's the rule on this one? Because ultimately, anything that is haram will most likely come with problems, oftentimes financial problems. If you remember well, you were the one that asked me a question about machines trading on behalf of people.
Yes.
And I did not respond till now. And there was another brother who asked me the same question. I now have an answer after Kala.
And we actually had a conversation on Kala as well. Before the whole sound until the adhan is made. Once the adhan is made, we'll wrap up the session and I will say exactly what. And please don't forget to patronize Kiva Consulting. They made this happen. To Brother Ibrahim, can you share a little experience about his career? Can you share a brief experience about his career / entrepreneurial journey? And then to Brother Khalid, can you share a title in
I'm just a regular person, like every other person. Finish secondary school, try to write down, go to university and become an accountant or an economist, white collar job. Some people want to become our parents want us to become lawyer, doctor, accountant, and all those. But as jam is jamming people, So someone introduced me to graphic design. At that time, I didn't know it was graphic design. If you remember, late 90s. They say go and learn, how to go and learn computer. So I was fortunate to get somewhere, and we were using Corel, Photoshop, and all that. So coming from someone who wants to go and economist, there was something they did the first time I went there, my first lesson. They brought a picture, online picture, a white man wearing suit. Then this my order, he removed the head of that white man and put his own head, and printed it as a passport photograph. Normally you would have, worn a suit, go to a studio, take a picture, and print out passport. So when I saw that, I was like, you want to share a view, so I became very interested, and I was very serious. So I learned that, and after that, I got a job somewhere while still trying to get into university. So I got a job at a firm where they do video editing. So they said they were not going to pay me because they would teach me how to do video editing. But I need money, to sponsor myself. Yes, I have parents, but we know how we grow. I need money to go to school. These guys are not going to pay. What am I going to do? I was fortunate that someone advised me to pick up the job. So I took it. I wasn't earning anything, and they taught me how to get videos. And that changed a whole lot of things. Coming from a graphic designer to a video editor, and while I was at that job, I got permission to study economics, which that's what I always wanted to be. So I was building two careers. I was going to school. I was also doing graphics and video. So before I resumed school, I got a fantastic job from an advertising agency. This agency, if you know about the design work, the branding work, you know what the agency are. So coming from someone who is not earning anything, when I went for an interview, and this man asked me, okay, so after this interview, how much are you going to collect? That was 2003, 2004. How much are you going to collect? I said 50K. And he said, okay, no problem. No problem there. Anyway, so I took that job. So I was working, and so I learned a whole lot on that job too. Coming from someone who does graphics at the business center, video editing, Then I used to design 100 logos per day, 20, 50. There are people behind you. Say, just pick one logo, remove red, put blue, do all that. But now at the agency, I am designing a logo, and they are asking me questions. Why did you use blue? Why did you use this text? Why did you put this here? So I have to answer a lot of questions while designing. You have to defend what you design. So that is the agency that. So I ended up designing one logo in a month. You use 1 month to design one logo because you must have reasons for everything you are doing. And this reason they don't emanate from anywhere. They come from clients. So when someone approaches you that, let me design this thing, you ask questions. So this question will direct you on what to do. So you don't just approach your system and just design. No. So I started asking questions and we developed questionnaire, which has become UX today. There's UI, UX, user experience. So you ask questions and sorry, I'm going too far. So after all that, I went, I worked in a lot of agencies, before I started Invigorate. I own in 2010. And about 3-4 years ago, I was in my office. I was listening to Abunasi, and was asking questions in that audio. That if you die today, everything you have, how are they going to benefit you? So I look at myself, the skills that I have, the equipment, cameras, this and that. So I thought, okay, so I could actually do something for the woman. So I started with Islamic. That was how it started. And I have been running it with my funds since 4 or 5 years ago until last year, 2 years ago, where we had sponsorship from Unilever. And that's another challenge because we had banks, GT Bank, Zenith Bank, coming to say they want to sponsor. Now we cannot collect money from Zenith Bank. You see the problem. We need money to run, to show lectures. We want to see quality content on TV, Mirror of God. We want to see Islamic content. We want to see Shade, every lecture, and we want the picture to be increased. But we need money to do all that. Now the banks have come and say, yeah, collect money and put our adverts there. I cannot collect money, but I want to be on PST. I want to show content during Ramadan. So these are the challenges, you know, and we've been facing it. And we pray that Allah is our fears.
So, brother, please, how do we gain confidence about answering or solving clients' solution? Can you do that in like a minute?
So there are no hidden ways or two ways about it. I think I'd like to protest on the point you made about asking questions when a client comes to you. So I had something like, you mentioned the questionnaire, I was able to come up with something like that. So normally when a client comes to you, you don't jump to just agree to their terms, because you need to understand what you want to design. Now, what you're designing is not for them alone, it's for they and their users or their customers. So you need to be in sync with them, telling them that, hello, what I'm designing for you is not actually for you alone. So I'll be asking you some certain questions. I ask questions like, okay, who are your audience? And if you have to make use of colors in the logo, what services do you render, so that the use of colors will tally with the service that you want to provide to people. So you have to make all these decisions. Now, one thing I normally do is, any clients that come to me, be it a man or a woman, I usually treat them like, I don't know if I should say family. So even if my price chases you away, you will still come back. You likely still come back, because the way I attend to you, you most likely not get that kind of treatment anyway. So you start from there. When you take them as family or as someone very close, you take their brand like your own, then you'll be able to do something interesting. So gaining confidence is not something you can do at a go or when you just start. It takes time, actually. So it takes time, you design stuff consistently, and then before you know it, you just start, definitely start doing great things.
So yeah, I will ask one more question, and because we don't know when the other will be called, I would also like Brother Toriola to make a grant to just say one or two before we close the event. So the question is, after the question, inshallah, you say one or two. Is it permissible to run sales promo at certain periods, e.g. on Black Friday, Christmas, or New Year time? Is it permissible?
So before that,
sisters, help me.
Tell Ganjos to be my conference. So, can we run promos? Yes, we can run promos. There's nothing wrong with running promos. But the problem is that you have to avoid periods that are problematic Islamically. Christmas, Easter, we don't run promos around that time, especially of product or commodities that these people may use in their festivities. So, but we can look for religiously neutral or religiously encouraged periods to run our promos. We can run promos during Idul Adha. Those are far better. And another part of the year. But to run promos, Easter, Christmas, these are problematic.
Unfortunately, brother has declined.
He's blushing because I'm here.
Yeah. And now the question, follow-up question to that: can we buy during these times?
So let's take the Black Friday stuff. Yes, I've seen some people who have said it's not permissible. I'm not convinced with the argument. Why scholars will say that the basis is that okay, they are Eid or they are religiously motivated festivals, we should not in any way encourage support or benefit from them. But the fact of the matter is that this is just a day. I don't think this even has any religious connotation. So, and even if it has, you are selling something for 10 naira And then that Black Friday, you decide to sell it for 5 naira. And then say to buy. I don't know what to be wrong. So if you ask me, I'll say it's not wrong. That's what I'm going to say. So the person is running a promo, selling stuff at a lower price. Okay, I give an example. Somebody once asked me, a person is doing this on her birthday, and then decided to push out stock he or she has had at lower rate. Should I buy? Why would I not buy? And it what's wrong with it? It's the person's problem that he or she celebrating birthday. I'm buying this commodity. It does not directly or indirectly assist what he or she is doing. So I don't see anything wrong with this follow-up.
Exactly not there. So this question will cost a bit of rancor, but I would love to see the problem. It says, you recognize from your speech that women folks outnumber men folks here. What are your advice for our women to balance between their primary objectives, homes, and doing business? We need women in the homes too.
Which gender is that question?
Okay, so I never thought the person was going to say polygyny. Look at the difference. I'm not saying you should give back to brothers. But 1, 2, 3. They count the roles of the sisters. So we are 18. The other sister also. So this is one of the things we are talking about now. Very obvious to every one of us. No, I'm not talking about polygyny anyway. But it's a very important question. Why do we have our women outside? Base rule. Nobody should dispute about this. The home is where the women ought to be. Ibn Taymiyyah used to say, Al-Aslu fi Rijal al-Burus, wal-Aslu fi Nisa as-Sukunu fi Buyut. The base rule is that men are the ones that go outside. And Arab Bedouin, desert man was asked, what relationship with your wife? And he said, I serve her outside the home the way she serves me inside the home. That's the way it ought to. That whatever she wants to give to her, and she does not labor herself, ideally. But we do not live in an ideal environment. Neither do we live in an ideal country. We have problems with our sisters. You cannot have somebody sit down, somebody tell you that sit down here, I will feed you, clothe you, and I'm going to do this without any complaint. And that person said, I know I must go out. Unless that person has the virus of feminism. But most of our sisters do not. But there's an underlying problem where we find sisters having to come out to work. Number one, irresponsible husbands. We have them everywhere. The husbands who punish their wives for not giving them food. So nobody should say, no, this is not theory, this is what I am active on social media. I'm not going on social media, I'm active in real life. The majority of people who speak to me, men have ego. And if your wife beats you, you cannot come and say, that's why Omo beat me yesterday. You will not come out and say. But women are very more open to talk about their challenges. Irresponsible husbands who will not spend on the woman, not basic things they will not do. And there is a fundamental issue. When someone has talked about this issue, and there some people saying that women should work and so on and so forth. You don't argue. It's something that you will realize. Our brothers die, right? Our women get divorced. So I give an example of a particular case that is pathetic. I've given this example in several places. There was one of our brothers that died, and a fundraising was organized on social media to support this brother. This brother was gainfully employed when he was alive. I don't mention the employment. He was at least alright. And so let's raise money for him. And money was being raised. When money was being raised, a brother was saying that why are you raising money for someone who has died, and this was comfortably employed. So poverty is a problem. As if there isn't that money, it was paying him see me here, this person has died. He did not know after said and done, because at times you just sit down in your house and various information about that person will come your way. These same people you were raising money for, that money was not sufficient for anything. Brothers and sisters, the one of our brothers, what's his name? Musa Abanda, organized Sharia. They raise money for people. The majority of people who were there to seek financial assistance was women. So this is what I'm going to say. The base rule is that women stay at home. In a situation whereby we face these challenges, women should do work that is in accordance with what Islam allows. They should not pre-mix with their work. They should not allow their work to take up their very proper responsibility. They should seek the permission of their husband, but they should have something doing. If you are rich, like I'm thinking of going to planting now. For what I've heard, I'm going to be learning planting. Keep something for your wife. If you have the wealth, not the pocket money or the food money, I am talking from practical experience. If you have wealth and your wife is not working, keep something for your wife, save for her. If you can't afford it, allow her to do work that you can control. Because at times our sisters are funny. You give them factor of 1 inch, they will take 10 inches. Also, the little sisters market online and they started dancing with the cup. And I've seen sisters, I'm not talking about don't let me say something. Earlier from a particular part of the country. Our sisters, so they will be praying, they will be dancing, shaking, and then they will say it's anarchy. And what's the meaning of this one? And then there was a transaction, a sister was wearing a cup, wanted to sell somebody to a brother, and the brother who is Oloshi said that I cannot buy from you unless I see your face. Are you man, a married sister? And the sister opened her face. What is that? You don't know. That's how you do I have seen sisters, I've seen a sister who will be doing business online and will not pray. So the thing is that yes, we need to solve this problem. At the same time, we don't want it to become a monster. So yes, our women can work, but it must be work as defined by Islam, following Islamic guidelines, and then we should, as brothers, we try as much as possible to try as much as possible to expose them to these things. Women ordinarily are not supposed to be out there the way we have them now. Men are what that sisters. I don't want that. Now, at times, just someone say, are you saying that I will die? No, I'm not saying that. No, you will die. No, me, you will not die. But this is the reality of life. We are last source.
So, the slide that I use in presenting, I'll send it to Sister Alpha so you can chat out to get the full document.
No, did you hear that? So, but after you came here with a PowerPoint presentation, if you want a copy of it, you can send it to Sister Alpha and you can reach out to her to get it. It says, sisters, please, we need the noise down. Is that cool out there? On the question of Black Friday and thing, so someone said scholars particularly spoke about waiting until Black Friday to get a particular commodity because you know it will be dropped onto Christmas clearance or New Year giveaway or whatever. So what do you have that would be wrong in that case? What do you have to say about that?
Well, what I can think of is that if everybody begins to wait, there may be a next importance given to campaign. So I think that naturally people will not wait to buy stuff they need. I mean, I need this thing, then I'll wait till let it be December. That is number one. Number two is this. In the conventionally, people would close their books by year end, right? So by year end, they will decide that these stocks that we have, we want to push them out. So we cannot say that is wrong, because that is when they would make an assessment of their books and then decide how they want. So we cannot say that that is in itself wrong. It's like at the end of the year, someone gives you your 13th month salary. For people working in the corporate world, some have not earned before. If you're working in the corporate world, at the end of the year, apart from your salary in December, they give you the 13th month salary, right? So you say, okay, I don't want because it has to do with me. I'm not saying that position is you can't hold that position. I believe it's wrong, but it's your right to hold that position. So if you have that position that you don't like 13th month salary, I will give you my account number. If that is send it, they will just forward it to me. I will help you this business. Allah,
you have been recording. Sister Kauta. Alright, so our host was just saying a few words. Don't worry. You don't have to do that. Please proceed.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'd like to say thank you to everyone for coming. I want to have you here, and I hope that by the will of Allah, we are all taking at least one thing home. Is there anyone that didn't take anything new? By chance, maybe you were disturbed. Okay, alhamdulillah. We got a lot of support, alhamdulillah, and I think that I would like to say that there is a common misconception that Muslims don't support each other. And I'd like to tell you that this event has proven that otherwise. So alhamdulillah, we are the best of mankind, alhamdulillah. So we are always ready to support ourselves. So I'd like to give every one of us that job, that if there is anyone that is seeking your support for something, especially when it is for the sake of Allah, please, to the best of their ability, show up for the person. For every business owner that wants to learn about marketing strategies to improve their business, and it is only valid for people who are here. So please expect our messages. And I'd like to leave you on this note that Muslims are like by default. So is there anyone that doesn't like us? I don't think so. So we all mean business, halal business of course. And what I realize is that we do not have it for everyone. And believe that this event will be annual. And the next one, we will be reaching out to you. We are seeking your du'as, your support, and your presence, of course. Thank you so much.